perspective because we always talk about what we missed, but we don't tend to talk about what we learned. So that's why I always think that, everything in life comes to you when you're ready. It could be investments, it could be any advice in life, it could be any mindset related stuff or anything that you're going through is because when you're ready, it'll happen. So you never miss anything. You're always ready to receive. That's how I see it.
Welcome to the theAdrianaOstapenkoPodcast. I'm here with a good friend, Bava. It's so nice to see you. I tell people I use my podcast as a very blunt excuse to catch up with good friends and find out what's going on in your life. I started this podcast because when I started investing in real estate, I did not know much at all about investing or real estate, and yet real estate has changed my life in more ways that I can count. So if I can inspire, teach, educate anybody out there of how it's possible to change your life through real estate, that's what the mission for this podcast is. So I'm so glad you're here because I know you have a ton of experience, stories, and so much value to share. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's been such a honor and pleasure to be here. And then I've seen you right from, I think I would say 3 years ago. I see such an amazing growth from your perspective as well, from your journey. So thank you so much for, giving me this opportunity. And then I'm so glad I'm here.
Yeah, amazing. Tell us a little bit about you. What is it that you do in real estate? What's your main, and where do you spend most of your time? What's your main focus right now?
Okay, so currently me and my business partner, we are currently looking in, we primarily invest in Nova Scotia, and we focus on multifamily, which is, our main focus is 20 units and above. And then literally when we started looking at secondary market, because my business partner was already an investor in the secondary market. And then for myself, I used to live in Nova Scotia for 8 years. I went to school there as well. And then I worked there. So I kind of when I was there, I was having a, consumer mindset. I didn't have an investor mindset. So back then it was basically just going to the corporate job, didn't think anything about real estate. People always say, hey, you missed the bus. But I always say that I'm glad at least I know now, right? So because it's a different perspective, because we always talk about what we missed, but we don't tend to talk about what we learned. So that's why I always think that, everything in life comes to you when you're ready. It could be investments, it could be any advice in life, it could be any mindset related stuff or anything that you're going through is because when you're ready, it'll happen. So you never miss anything. You're always ready to receive. That's how I see it. So yeah, we started investing in multifamily. Now we're getting into buying lands, and we want to get into storage and land developments. So that is the current model. And for 2024, I think I'll be happy to say that we are actually starting our own consulting business for real estate. So which we never thought that this will be a thing that we wanted to do, but we kind of looked at people are doing off-market deals, and I see investors, who want to get off-market, but they wanted to invest outside. And this is for people who are trying to say, hey, why should I just, you're not investing you're just investing your time, but you're not putting any money. I'm just putting my money, and I don't want you to give equity. And me and my business partner, we came up with the theme as, okay, if you don't want to put, any time, we will be your consultant. So we will find you a deal, we will execute the deal, and then we will be with you in the part of the deal. We won't get equity, but we'll get percentage of per monthly. So that's the consulting model. So that will be starting, we already have a client as of now. And then we wanted to get into that, specialized only in multifamily in Nova Scotia, and only in secondary market, very specific, not just going all over. So we wanted to be known for the people in the secondary market, especially Spring Hill and Amherst and Cape Breton. So these are the market that we're looking at. So that is what 2024 already, we already started that. And then a few other things. And, I started doing social media, a course, which is an 8-week course. So basically when I started, we could relate this. I was actually pinging you before. It's like, hey, how do you meet people? How do you find investors? How do I post? I know you were killing it out there, right when you started. I still remember, when I met in boot camps and I met you in Ottawa, and I was like, Adriana, you're famous. How do you actually, post everything, and how do you do those stuff? And that's how you came up with your company, right? So I think everything starts with an idea, and then the same thing came to me where we were like, hey, everybody's using social media, but nobody's using it for investing or even entrepreneurs. So we're not focusing only real estate. We are focusing on small business owners who are not using social media to bring in more business and more customers. So it will just be an 8-week quick program that you're doing, and then a few other things. So I hope I answered. I think I was in the role, but yeah.
Ultimately, you're a serial entrepreneur. So whenever I ask this question to entrepreneurs, like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm working on this thing and this is what's coming up next. So I love it. I'm going to circle back and ask some questions. So
Sure.
it's an interesting model that you're doing in the consulting side. So I'm just going to repeat what I understood to make sure I got it right.
Okay.
So you're
Absolutely.
helping a client find a deal, specifically in some specific markets in Nova Scotia that you already operate in.
Correct.
And then you said you're implementing it or executing it. What do you mean by executing? What parts of the consulting that you offer?
Absolutely. So usually when, if off market deal, the off market guy will go find the deal for you, and then he will off market to a seller. And then the seller takes care of the deal. When the buyer actually doesn't know anything about the market, he's going to go do his own research. He has to go create a team. He's going to go do everything from A to Z. So we found a model that, we could be the off market guy. At the same time, we will execute the deal for them. Instead of being as a part of the deal, we'll just get a consulting fees instead of putting equity in it.
So
that's
when
how
you
we
say
came up with the
execute, like
model.
are you property managing it or are you?
Yes. So our team will property manage.
Okay.
And then we will take care of the deal. We'll give our team. So the lawyers, mortgage brokers, everything will be our own team. So, but they would execute it. So basically they will learn from it. And then we will be as a part of hand holding to the whole process. So that's how we came up with the model. And so basically we found that a lot of people who wanted to invest in East Coast, but they're like, hey, I don't know, can you partner with this? But when you try to scale your business, you can't, your time is more valuable, as you already know, and you really wanted to come in and help others. At the same time, they should feel comfortable that they want to learn too. If people come to us and said, hey, I have the time, I do have the money, then it's a different scenario, right? When people come and say, hey, I don't have the time, but I do have the money, and this is the model that we came up with, where we will give our expertise and then they can learn from it. And a lot of people that we realized, investors in our few projects, they said, hey, I want to learn what you're doing. I want to learn what you're doing. Right. So, and we are very open about it. And we wanted people to learn so that they can bring in more people and they can educate them and whatnot. And when they find that they realize they're really good at it, and they can propel it. Right. So it's basically, sharing is caring. That's how we came up with this model. So.
Love it. I'm very curious to hear how it goes as you're going along. The fact that you're not getting any equity is interesting. I feel like that'd be appealing to a lot of investors. So very, very excited to keep following you, what you're doing there, and see where that goes. How has it been with this change in the market? So how's your real estate portfolio doing? How has the change in the market impacted you guys, or what kind of pivots have you had to do in your business?
Absolutely. So that's like everybody is going through that, and everybody's talking about it. I know people having 150 doors or going negative 8,000, right? To, who has people who have 20 doors who are cash flowing. So it's a very amazing question that you ask, and I always repeat this to people where, hey, the number of doors really doesn't matter, right? As long as your portfolio is cash flowing, just don't go by the number. There's this 3 thing I always learned, and I wanted to keep it that way, where cash flow, lifestyle, and the home rent. all three at the same time. I'm okay to go and take a deal. It's a triplex and it's cash flowing, or a sixplex is a cash flowing, or a student rental, rather than going, 80 unit with negative 8,000 to 10,000, hoping that the market will change. And even though when we try to do with our calculations and whatnot, and I see a lot of people with, flips has been really going through a lot of changes. Like I know few people went to bankruptcy this year. 3 people that I know, they were trying to do 3 flips at the same time. With the interest rate, that's the thing. As you are already in multifamily investor, we try to get in the multifamily, going on the numbers, not based on the market. So in our portfolio, when we ran the numbers, we closed a portfolio June, and at that time we ran it for 8.5. So we were, we were doing okay, and in future deals we're running it for more, so that's why we're not, really going hard on, hey, like, finding more deals. We're finding the right deals, which is for us. So that's why, like, even a duplex or a triplex, if it's cash flowing, we're happy. We don't want to, get into something that, because at the end of the day, we're investing others' money, and we have to be very super careful about, what it is. It's basically even more careful than your own, right? So far with our portfolio, we're good, because we did, run the numbers on that perspective, and in future we'll always run the numbers in that perspective, and then go towards it, and basically pivot based on the market. So that's how we came up with this consulting business, which is less, I would say, it's better than some of the strategies that we have seen, even on a, off market. Right now people don't want to get in, even though you have off market deals, right? I see a lot of changes going on, especially in Nova Scotia as well. But in Halifax and others, I think it's actually the other way around, where, the city is actually asking residents to rent their basements, and they actually have a site to do that, because there's a scarcity of place that they need. Yeah, 4,500 people today, as of today, they don't have a place to stay in Halifax. So I feel like, one side there's, with the interest rate going up and whatnot, but the other side there's demand. So you really have to be very careful about where you want to get in. And as people always say, like, there's no quick get rich scheme. Just really, have a long-term vision, go slowly but surely. I feel a lot of people are getting rushed by, hey, I want to become this number of doors in 1 year. They get discouraged because they couldn't attend it, because last 3 years, people who made money, the equity money, and if they're not good with that, then they will actually feel for it in the next 3-4 years. But the slow process is better. I feel people who are trying to get in now, and just, it's a patient game, and you got to learn from it, right? So that's my take on it. So
I just want to ask, because you said it's 3 things, and I caught cash flow and lifestyle. What was the third thing?
the home run.
I still don't get it.
The home run is the bigger deals.
Okay, home run. You're saying, okay,
Yeah.
got it. So
Yeah, like a unicorn deal,
tell
like
more what a
let's
home
say,
run is.
yeah, like it's for us, the portfolio that we have is a 37 unit, and we're cash flowing 15K. Our goal is 25K, right? So that is like kind of a home run, but it's like we negotiated the deal for 8 months. We were working on it, and that's like, it takes 8 months, but there's no any cash flow for that 8 month, right? So at that time, we are looking for, duplex or triplexes, and that's cash flowing, let's say $500 to $800, or we're getting into a triplex that is a student rental. So that's why, like, for us, our goal is to have 3, which is lifestyle, which is that pays for your car, your groceries, and your outing, and then the cash flow to live off of it, and then the home run. So because if you do like 1 and 3, like, we're basically trying all 3 at the same time. So each one takes its own time. So that's why we're very clear about what you want to do on that perspective.
Got it. I love that. I find that what's making a difference, and this is what I realized as the market started to turn, is any shorter term strategy like flips and even burrs really got severely impacted. And just kind of reconfirming and reaffirming the real estate is a long-term play. Not that you can have
100%.
like shorter cash flow strategies in it, but really where you make the big money real estate is the long term of like the
Absolutely.
hold. And, we're looking, I'd say minimum 5 years hold for you to really experience the benefits of real estate. So I already knew that. I had that gut within me, and just that's how we build our portfolio, which I'm very happy about. However, it just confirms, because I do find that there was a lot of investors out there, even in our business model, where the plan was to do a full burn in 12, 24
Mm.
months, which we
Months.
did several. It's no longer the case, right, in this environment where we're not able to
Absolutely.
do that quick of a turnaround. There's just not enough with the debt service ratio, as you know. There's just not enough to take out right now. We can take out
Right.
in a couple of years once interest rates lower again. But the benefit of holding a long term for a larger refinance on a 5 year term or disposition at that time is where the numbers become way more exciting. So, and to your point about cash flow, with some of the CMHC products where we're going 95% loan to value, makes things tight, with the cash
Right.
flow. So how do you keep a
Keep doing it,
leverage
right? Yeah.
that's not over leveraged, so that you're not really having to do any cash calls?
Yeah, because and then now, like, because it's like the thing that happened in Ontario and Vancouver, where within the after COVID people started getting it, and then they're starting refinance, and then they had 600 to 800K. They were thinking that's their own money, and then they went, either some people who bought properties or some people who started spending. That kind of like the market shifted, and now they actually feel it, which is the same scenario with CMHC, where now they don't want to take out the money like for 2 years. They want to lock it, right? And then after that, they want you to invest in a property. If let's say you take the money and now you have to invest in another property. So I think eventually we will see more of that. It's because of what the pattern of that, we're seeing. And now like even investors are understanding it, right? From our perspective, that's how we are seeing it. Hey, like this is the case that, that the market is going, and they are okay with it.
I
Right. I
appreciate
feel
that because it slows it down a bit. Like in some
100%.
ways, it's safer as managing partners. It's safer on our end as well. We know that we can take the time to stabilize our assets, do our thing. We're not in a rush, like you said. You don't
Right.
want, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. We're building something that's going to remain for a long time, and that's based on
Absolutely.
solid foundation. I also connect with what you said. While we're stabilizing our larger buildings, we're acquiring smaller ones. Like we've closed
Yeah.
on two, like a 6 unit and a 5 unit in the last little bit. We're closing on another one coming up soon. But like, and it doesn't require a lot of investors, doesn't require a lot of,
That's it.
initial capital. It's shorter timelines, but it's allowing us to keep moving with our acquisitions, keep the processes going, keep building the portfolio, and buying properties that make sense right now.
No, absolutely. I think that's exactly what, we literally told ourselves in the last 2 months, where we're like, hey, we're closing in the process of another, 9 unit. It's an off market 6 and 3. It's same, like, it's cash flowing. It's easy to, take care of, and it's in the same city. And, if let's say we didn't have that mindset of looking at it, we were not looked at this deal. We would have been like, hey, no, it's not in a criteria, just because we had that, okay, cash flow lifestyle and home run. So let's keep looking for home runs at the same time, keep looking for properties that are cash flowing till today. And then even, smaller properties like buying lands too, right? So that's a long-term game that we're looking at. So it's funny, like just because of one small thing, you could, really, convert and think about it. I mean, I learned a strategy when I went to like a retreat, right? And then I was like, hey, how is this possible? And then once I started implementing it, it's just all you need is that information. Everybody here is looking for that information, and without taking any action, it won't happen, right? That's another thing. I could learn all about everything and without doing anything. And there's another thing too, where if you know too much, then we can't do it as well, right? Because we go into, hey, what will happen, and this and that, and talking to your own stuff, looking at your own patterns of, hey, like, analysis paralysis, not just in numbers, but actually in your mindset of, hey, what happens if you actually make it? That way of thinking would really help. It really helped in our case, especially when you go through a lot of deals, and every investor can go through this. Every time when you have a deal, when you close it, until you close it, you just don't know. You go through a lot of mental shift, you go through a lot of sleepless nights, but I feel like you don't have to really go through it when you're actually really, really in tune and really making sure that you work through it along the way. Because what's the point of losing your health? What's the point of, like, that's what we realized, hey, like, end of the day, if people are going to say, they're going to say no. And if an investor doesn't want to invest, if investor doesn't want to invest, if the bank doesn't want to give, if they don't want to give. But I was like, at the beginning, we were like, hey, this is crazy. I can't sleep. I don't know what this investor is going to say. I don't know what this person is going to say. Anything that we don't have over control, like, I know this by theory. Yeah, like, you don't have control. Just please make sure whatever you have control. But when you're actually in it, you don't see it. So I feel like people should really, I mean, that's our biggest lesson for me and my business partner, where, if it's not really, really like giving us happiness and like stuff, it's maybe not meant for us, right? So don't sleep overnight. It's okay. Health is more important. We just talked about it before this call. And, and really like being happy every day, not just being happy on the closing day. We want to be happy, like, at least try to be, right? That's the biggest learning for us too.
I love that. That's really something that I've been working so intentionally at for so long, as you know, because I know you do too. And also keeping it in perspective for 2024, because I know there's new levels coming, there's new skills coming. I'm not really talking just about size, just talking about new ways of doing things. And it starts within. It starts from me.
Absolutely.
Evolving, so my business can evolve, but also realizing that business ownership, it's just a lot about like solving problems and putting out fires, and that is the business. There's
that
no
is
other
everything,
way
and how
around it.
fast you can bring a solution. That's it, right? I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
And the more you can keep your mindset in the right place, the easier it is to bring solutions. So really aiming for stability of, your thoughts process, really aiming for, to your point, intentional daily, like, what is putting my best foot forward today, showing up my best today. And that's all I can do. But that compounds. If you do that every
100%.
single day, it really has a huge impact and reflects so incredibly in your business. And I'm looking forward to that, because how do you not stress? Because we've been through deals where I was the same thing, didn't sleep for weeks, just stressed. I'm like, I can't scale like that. I can't scale if I'm putting myself in this kind of like stress level. It's not the deal that's making me stressed. It's not the lender.
You're making it more stress than the deal. That's what I realized.
You're
right?
stressing yourself. That's it. It's not anything exterior that's stressing you. You're stressing yourself with the thoughts that you're choosing to have. So, not saying that difficult things don't happen, because they do. But how do you remain, mentally strong and stable in the midst of challenges and hardships is key to your overall success. And to your point, not just in your business success, but your lifestyle and your happiness level and, health.
Yeah, like personal success, I think it's one of the best things that you could get. Once you have the change in you, you'll see the change around you, right? I feel that's like the must, like top one priority, like for us, like me and Wisdom Partner, we literally told us, 2024, yes, this year we learned a lot, but next year will be more about, taking us for a priority and even keeping accountable in terms of, hey, like, how's your eating habit? How's your, are you going to the gym? Like, not just doing like, hey, did we what's our business model? Like, how are we progressing? Like, we have a, bi-weekly check-ins about some of the projects we are working on. And then we said, hey, like, we used to do that just before when we were not getting busy, where he was into boxing, and I was, going to the gym, and we were trying to keep accountable each other, right? So I was learning from him and whatnot. And after that, when things get busy, we literally like just forgot there's another life happening, which is like, yeah, you need to go to the gym, you need to eat properly, right? And drink more water. Like we stopped doing it. And then now we're like, okay, how can we do this so that we can do more changes in our lives in terms of deals, working with people, and etc. So this is something that we really wanted to put in place. People always say I wanted to do stuff after my body tells me. We don't want to go to that stage, right? You wanted to do it just way before that, I think. So yeah, I mean, this is something huge where we really felt that, okay, like we need this, like not just one aspect of life, we need everything. Yeah, without everything, you're not complete. So
I love that. I had a question here about partnerships. You've been talking about your partner quite a bit. So I was going to ask you, and I'm going to repeat what you said there because I think that's already part of the answer. Ultimately, you're telling us that, a partnership goes beyond just the business and the updates and business plans. You're actually starting to hold each other accountable, touch base on how are you doing in your personal life? How are you doing with your workout routines? Are you taking care of yourself? And sort of holding each other, encouraging each other, holding each other accountable to take care of yourself as a whole. I love that. I think that says a lot about your partnership. What would you say are some other couple of top things that make your partnership successful?
The values. Okay. I think your values should really, align. I don't think that it should be exactly the same. Then you're replicating people, which means you're not, completing each other. You're just literally cloning yourself, which is different than completing yourself. So I feel whatever skills that you have, the other person shouldn't have. And then me and my partner, like when we started, we did personality test. We looked at it and then we said, okay, what is his plus? What is his minus? And we really went full on my plus and his plus. And then that's how we started complimenting each other. And, and then it's funny, like you're very connected as well spiritually, where, me and him, if you don't connect on things, we don't go ahead. We come back, we're like, okay, what's your gut feeling? Let's go with your gut feeling. And then let's go with my gut feeling. If I say no, then then we'll be like, okay, let's come back. And if he says no, then we're going to come back. So we started looking at stuff, even our partnership, even the people that we wanted to partner with, or people they wanted to partner with, we wanted to really get along with them in terms of, their values, not just, hey, like, I have the money, I have the time, let's go partner. No, because just before, getting into this, I networked a lot. And then I asked about people what went wrong in their deals. So out of 85% people told me it was bad partnership. And I said, why? And they said, either one person was desperate, either the money partner was desperate, or the person with the deal was desperate. They really didn't think. They just wanted to, at that time, they wanted to have, I would say, like a hookup, right? Like at that time, they wanted the deal to work. So they literally went on, but they didn't talk about what would you do when things went wrong, even though we put everything on paper. But when they're mentally not connected, then like the paper doesn't matter, because that's why back in the day, like paper didn't matter, only words matter, right? So everything, the deal was done in a handshake. But today, it's not done that way, even though it's in paper. But when we're not actually connected, then what's the whole point? There's no harmony in it. So we looked at the whole thing, and then I said, that's what I found out after networking with few people. I realized that, either one of them were desperate, and that's why it didn't work. And we said, we're not going to do this. So how can we, literally reverse engineer, and then even finding the business partners, or even like partnership with our deals? That's how we did it. So we literally, went to look at the values, and then if we got connected, like if I can't talk to you for half hour without thinking, oh my God, what should I say next? Then I can do business with you, right? Exactly. So we looked at all those, and then how they're reacting, and because everybody leaves clues, right? You just need to make sure that you're connected to the clues. What are they complaining on? Are they complaining about traffic and rain, or like, it's like people do people. So just make sure you're connected, and then see that whether you can align with it. Are they complaining all the time with you? Not just in your deal. Are they complaining about their life? Are they seeing negative things all the time? That's a pattern. You don't want to deal with pattern. You're not here to change lives, right? Especially on the business perspective, or unless you really wanted to, you can't. Like, I absolutely I give perspectives to people, and just everybody leaves a clue. So just make sure you're connected with it, and then you should be okay with it. I'm okay if somebody calls me and complain, and then I can be like, hey, why don't you look at the other side? Instead of saying like, oh my God, I got into an accident, I said, you're alive. Like, shut up. Okay. Everything is okay. You can buy another car, you have insurance. So, it's just perspective, right? But that's what I meant. Like, so we really look at values, and that really helped us, like when we're having difficult conversation, because they understand from that perspective as well. So that's like the way that we looked at.
There's so many key things there. Part of what with Turnkey specifically, we are a staffing agency, so we hire a lot of people. We do a lot of interviews. Something that we added on, as part of the process is energy level and energy in general. I also rating people's energy and how they're coming across, how it's just more of a feeling. And then
like by the books.
Yeah, because ultimately, can you connect? Are you in the same sort of vibration? Otherwise, it's so difficult. Communication is number one piece. I'm like, is it easy to communicate through the process? If it's not, that's a huge red flag. We're just in the different radio station. We're just not connecting. We're not able to get on the same page, and that's going to be a challenge if we were to work together. Absolutely. So I love that. One of the things that one of the measures that I use is, would I have you over for dinner at my house with my family? If I'm glad to welcome you into my home with my family, then we can have another conversation. If it feels not right, if I wouldn't do that, then that's a problem too.
Absolutely. I think it's a good way to put it, because it's like, once I invited to your house, or the other way around, it's like you made it kind of in that level, right? So which means you earned that and whatnot. So no, it makes sense. Absolutely. That's a nice measure.
Yeah, it's a good question to ask yourself. Let's move on to social media. So you're hosting an 8-week course. Is that correct?
Yeah. So me and Suman, I think we have our own course right now, and then we have around 8 students that we are teaching for social media, which is basically why you need social media to propel your business, right? You could be an entrepreneur, you could be a real estate investor. There are a lot of small businesses, there are a lot of realtors looking for clients, but they just don't know exactly how social media can help them. And then, like myself, I'm still not an expert. I'm as learning as every day, and like everyone. But I learned something that really helped me to find my investors, and my business has made a change. So I said, okay, if I can share this with people and they can make a difference, and this is what it really came into, right? So just using social media, why you need social media, and how we can help you in terms of finding partnership, or getting more traction for your business, or if you're selling a product, right? And that's the main reason for this actually the 8-week course. So
I love that. I love the fact that you're giving back. It doesn't matter, like you know a lot more than a lot of people out there, and there's so much value in that. And that's kind of what the podcast does for me. It's like, anything that I know, I'm sharing. Anything that I'm learning, I'm sharing. Like, I don't need to know everything. I'm going to continue to learn every day. I look back a year back and I'm like, wow, I see the growth here. So not being shy to be like, I'm not here to point out what I don't know. I'm here to share everything that I do know, being mindful that there's so many people that take advantage and value from the information that you have. So I love that. Obviously, you and I are on the same page about social media, its impact, its power. Something that I find interesting is how many people out there are uncomfortable in front of the camera. Like,
absolutely.
Right? How do you get people over that? How do you get people over that?
No, it's actually, I tell my students, right? It's because before, until I, started putting everything on social media, I was the guy who never I usually put like this one dinner in every 6 months. I randomly take a picture and post it, right? The one thing is, I always tell this to people is, you're taking video for yourself, not for anybody else. Once you started thinking that, hey, everything has to be perfect, I have to do like 85 takes for like a 1 minute reel, literally, like, this is honesty. People don't care. They literally don't care. If you like, how many times, when we scroll down, are we like making a comment or judging? No, because end of the day, we just wanted to consume content or consume something because you're bored. Like, that's the actual truth. That's why there's a time where people try to put, the content out from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's because that's the time every single person goes to work. What do they do? The first thing, they look at your phone, they look at the Instagram, right? So that's why, like, there's a time that everybody posts during that time, because people look at it, and then they try to do it in the evening because 5 to 7 people are busy with their work, coming back, and family, kids doing their own stuff, and then 7 to 9 is where people try to scroll down, and then during the day, right? But there's a reason why people do it. So one thing for people who wanted to start or put video as a content, like, for example, if you feel that, hey, I'm super shy or whatnot, just or even reach out to Adriana for her own podcast, record that, and then cut it and put it as reels, right? Or when you're having a conversation with somebody, even at home, even when it could be your spouse, friend, whatever, just put the phone on the side and record it, so that you're not actually, it's funny, like, my coach, gym coach, I have a private coach, and he absolutely hates social media, right? And he's like, hey, like, but he's really, really good. Like, when he tries to teach, I'm like, Mark, you're so good at this. He's like, no, I don't want to be it. So I told him to, like, I actually recorded him without him knowing. So, I told him, like, I'm just going to put, like, I didn't tell him, because for him, he tells me that if he knows that there's a camera, like, in any sort angle, he goes blank. Right? So that's his feeling. But so I told him, like, I didn't tell him that do this. I told him try it, but he's like, no, I can't do that. So I actually recorded it and then posted. So people who are trying to start, like, you don't have to really know everything. You don't have to. People always ask about what are the topics that I need to put. Just put anything. Start with anything, right? Because the more you think about it, then you're not replicating, like, you're not being yourself. You're trying to be someone else. It's like, hey, like, I want to be like Bava or Adriana, but you have your own skill and I have my own. And, like, the other person who's trying to do can be us because they have their own value of bringing in, right? They could be, it's funny, like, one of the student is actually a contractor, but he's like, oh, I don't know, like, what I need to put. I'm like, you're doing contracting. Like, you could literally put so many posts. You have so many content every day, more than anybody else, because you're doing so much stuff on daily basis that, like, half of the people in this earth doesn't even know about it. Like, in social media, like, or investing, you could literally go, Google everything and find it. But, like, some of the stuff that you're fixing it, you could literally record it and then put a voice after. Right? So everybody has the power within, but we don't look at it until you're ready to look at it.
Yeah, 100%. What made the difference for me, because I was the same. I was posting like kids and things. I didn't really know anything about social media. And it's been a learning process. It's trial and error and pushing myself. And a couple of things that really helped me get out there in social media was a 3-second rule. I would take a picture or create a reel or a post. I would look at it for 3 seconds. Unless it was something that was screaming no for whatever reason, I would post it. I'm not overthinking it. It needs to go out there. It doesn't matter. People don't care that much. People are seeing your face or seeing your content. That's all that really, it comes down to the bottom of it. It's getting yourself out there. And then the second thing was, I gotta be good with good enough. That's it. Tomorrow it can be better. My reel can be better. The quality can be better. The sound, this, that, whatever. I'll keep getting better. But for today, I have to be good with good enough, because this is what I can do today with the skill set that I have, the team that I have, with the resources that I have. So I'm going to do what I can today. and I'll keep improving from here. So I think those two things made a huge difference in my ability to like get out there and keep posting. And it's a skill set that you learn just like anything else. If you
Anything.
choose to focus on it and be intentional about it, you're going to continue to get better at it every day.
And it's another one, if I may add, it's the consistency, right? It's like, going to the gym, like it's the same idea. People who started, they want to get, 10,000 followers within a month. Yeah, there's no like, unless you're paying a bot to do it, and then you will actually see how many people are joining your online. Then people would know whether you're getting actual. It's a people, or is it a bot, right? So it's similar to the health strategy. You got to be consistent. You got to show up to the gym. You got to eat properly. Same thing. You got to post. You got to post every. Let's say you're posting once per week. Keep doing it for a year. Keep doing it for 6 months. At least once a week. Don't do it for put it on Monday and then after 3 weeks post on a Friday, because everything is all algorithm on your Reels or YouTube or whatever you're using. So it's basically, it's going to find out this is your pattern. So if you're doing it, just master at it in terms of doing the same thing over and over. And then that you will eventually get into, and it'll become a habit. Do it until it becomes a habit, right? That's why I did the first 100 posts. I said to myself, the first thing I'm going to wake up, I'm going to post it. So I did it for, 100 days straight up. So the night before, I used to prepare like literally 5 minutes the content, and then the morning I just post it, the first thing. So just something like creating a habit, and then do what you're good at, and eventually you'll find it as a pattern.
Yeah, I found with that specific with the consistency piece, I was only able to really become consistent once I had a team helping me out. Just confession time here. When I was doing it all by myself, my life had ebbs and flows of busyness, of other priorities, of things. Sometimes you just don't feel like it. Sometimes I'm feeling a little
100%.
blue. I don't feel like being on camera. So I just wouldn't. I would have weeks of not posting and then back on and back off. It wasn't until I'm like, okay, this is a priority for me because I do want to, be able to create a platform and an audience to attract the right partners for our investment options. I thought, okay, I'm going to make this investment into my business by having a team member that's going to like provide me the consistency that I need. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I was doing it until it was taking a lot of time. Mine is the other way around. So I had to hire a team. And then, like, as you said, sometimes you don't feel like doing it. And then we literally did Sunday as a, social media day. So I would sit down and, create content for 10 videos, with my team. And then he would come and record it, and then he would post it. And then after that, people go through change. Like it's like a lot of times, you have to break your pattern. And then after that change, you'll be like, it's like having a goal. Every time when you open up, the goal changes because you tapped your other side where you didn't know, and then you wanted more always. So that's how it is. And then now it's like, I can literally, create content and post in 2 minutes. I can literally record it, right? Because once you're master at it, like I wouldn't say master, once you're repeating yourself over and over, it's doing the same thing. Now I can literally go share something, put a music, like literally if I pull over, I can do it in 2 minutes, and then I'll just drive. That's what I do sometimes. That's why people ask me like, why are you always, in the car while talking? Because I was literally thinking about something. I was like, shit, okay, let me just pull over. And then I literally, as you said, like 3-second rule, I would literally record it for a minute and then put the music on, and then I'll upload it and then start driving. So it is like, then you don't even feel like, oh my God, you're doing something. It just becomes so normal, right? And then I'm still learning too. It's not that, I know, but I'm learning with what I know and then learning from other people as well. So
100%. I love that. Okay, we're nearing the end. I do have one final question for you. It's just really about sharing value. If you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what message would you share with everybody?
All you need is you're just enough. You don't need anything else.
That's nice. Hearts. Thank you so much, Bava. It's a pleasure. Where can people find you?
Thank you so much, Adriana, for this opportunity. And, it's always good connecting with you. People can find me on Instagram. and Facebook, Instagram. I have my business page, which is Rice Investments, and then my personal page is theBavaman. So if anybody wants to, have a chat, doesn't have to really be anything about it. You could just say hi, and then I could, we can have a chat. So
amazing. Make sure to subscribe to stay tuned for this video podcast release. Such a pleasure, Bava. I look forward to talking to you soon.
Likewise. Thank you. Stay blessed.